Io through his paces over
Yeah.
here. Just kind of what was it like getting him, and how you're trying to get him up to speed?
Yeah, I mean,
quickly
just
here?
just kind of give them the basics of our offense and our defense. So obviously has an idea what we're doing tomorrow. But yeah, just not, just give them a kind of like a little list of things. Mostly play in our concepts, not overburden them right there. So.
When it comes, since you like to play so free flowing,
Yes.
how much of it is feel and just kind of getting to know your teammates?
Yeah, I think.
Part of that?
Well, yeah, it's both are true. I think generally when guys join our system, they do pretty well right out of the gate, because they just kind of play on instinct, which is what we love. We do have to get a little bit more structure and flow back to our early offense in general. We're a little too ISO dominant early on right now, so we got to get more guys kind of touching the ball, moving it, and then being able to just play off of that. So I think in general, it's a good time for him to be coming, just because we got to review some of this stuff, for everybody, not just himself. And then after that, after he's here for a handful of games, he'll probably start thinking about, okay, this is what my teammates like, this is, what I've picked up along the way, and hopefully, he'll make those adjustments pretty quickly.
Rudy had some strong comments after the game last night, basically saying there's very little accountability among the players, and he's hoping when it comes to defensive effort that maybe he'll start benching guys because of the defensive effort. Did you see his comments, and what do you think of that? Is that a lever that you can pull with some guys? Or?
Yeah, as well aware of his comments. Say a couple things. One is, and anybody knows how we do things here, knows there's a high degree of accountability. Secondly, I handle all my conversations with ourselves in house. Disappointing that he felt the need to go outside. But nonetheless, that's been addressed already today. There's never been a team that's won anything meaningful that has substituted their way there. So,
what does that mean, substitute their way there?
They pull people in and out of the game on this.
With Io, you kind of mentioned getting that flow back. Is that, he is a really good next action player, kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Kicks. Is that something that you're excited to get off the bench?
No doubt, we need that. We need more connectors in our offense, more people that make decisions a little bit quicker, connect, kind of connect both sides of the floor while staying aggressive.
Do you kind of anticipate a little bit of a lag of him getting comfortable, just because you do have guys like Julius who kind of make these out of nowhere passes?
He'll have to be ready for that for sure. I think that's a good call. I think every team plays in a slightly different rhythm. Ours kind of is very different than Chicago. They played extremely fast. There was a ton of early drive kick stuff. But we're a bit more ISO heavy, sometimes too much. He's gonna have to get used to kind of playing in those spaces and around those guys, though, nonetheless.
When it comes to one of the things you often talk about is cutting and the need to cut in this offense. Can he add that?
Sure.
What's
I think watching him play, again, his ability to create next action basketball, it doesn't always have to be with the ball in his hands. They had a pretty good cutting rules, I think, in Chicago. Ours is, again, a little bit more kind of random or read the floor. And he's something that I'll have to get comfortable with.
You mentioned last night that sometimes each team is better with a tight rotation.
Yeah.
Is that something you're thinking about doing? And you played 10 last night. As we go along here, is it going to get tighter as the season kind of plays out here?
We'll have to see, but I think we've been best with a 9-man rotation this year generally, so, we got a number of guys who deserve high minutes, and we've got to try to make sure that they're getting those minutes, but we also got to keep them fresh. So.
Went to Johnny the last 2 games.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him, and that maybe
Yeah.
that opportunity the last couple of games?
thought he was a bright spot last night, for sure. Certainly played with energy and a hunger. He's got a great shooting ability. He got 2 looks last night. He was 1 for 2. Probably could have found him a couple times more. But yeah, I think he's kind of. Yeah, I've been cycling through a lot of these guys, just giving them a look, giving them a chance, and early returns have been good. So.
When you're like watching back the film on a game from last night, you kind of like find moments where you notice like, hey, this energy isn't good. Like these are the things that you're like pointing to, and if you do, like, do you mind sharing like what that kind of looks like for people who might be wondering?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean that's what film tells you. You can see it live, of course, too, sometimes, But the difference with film is, a lot of times in film, it doesn't pick up the mood of the team. And I think a lot of our low energy plays comes from a collective kind of foul mood, So those are things that I try to identify. But yeah, show up. Transition defense is kind of the most obvious one for us. Bit of a litmus test for our mood and our willingness to kind of make that play, and and then just ball contain and on ball compete. That's why I talk about those things all the time.
A few games ago, after the fight, he was talking about how he recognizes that when I play defense, the team plays better. It's hard for him to bring it every night because the offensive burden. How has he handled that this year, and how much do you want him to try to bring out both ends of the floor?
I'm not. I mean, Ant's 100% right. When he's playing defense like that, we are just another team. It's transformative to our team, to our collective energy. I've never really been one to subscribe to the notion that you can't play defense and offense at the same time. I realize that there's, to be a 30-point-a-night scorer in this league is a hard thing to do. I'm not taking that for granted. All I would say is that sometimes, offense doesn't have to be as hard as you make it either. So, where you put your energy certainly matters. And I think there's opportunity to, maybe rebalance the scales, with kind of simpler offense and, more defense.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.